Hey, hey guys, how's it going? Good morning, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer here. As I have my coffee, you know what? It's interesting. As much as I love Starbucks, if y'all have known me over the years, I've even stopped Starbucks. I love French press coffee. That's where you uh, fresh ground beans, put it in the French press. I love my coffee. Anyway, thanks for joining me for some coffee this morning. I just wanted to touch base. I've made a little bit of a move in my social media um, that I want to let you know about. I've actually jumped over to Parler. Have you seen Parler before? Let me share my screen and tell you a little bit of this so you know what I'm talking about. This is Parler, right? This is the app here. You can clearly see it. You'll find it on the App Store. Um, you know, just make sure you get the right one. There's like one that's kind of like a dating app or whatever there is. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Tom, how's it going? Brian Gonzalez, hey, buddy, how's it going? Tim, Lance, Marty, Paul, Tim set up Parler last night. That's great. And Tom's also saying Parler's great. Let me share with you folks why I made this jump. But first, I want to cover with you a little bit of history that I think people. Hey, Julia, how you doing? That people forget that. In these times, this is really, it does not matter what side of the equation you are, Lynn Marie, coffee snob too. I am a coffee snob, right? And hey, Dennis, coffee has, hey, Chris, has there's one thing about coffee and the pot where it's kind of all going through. Well, hey, Tammy, so nice to hear from you. How's it going? And Terry, how you doing? But when you make it in a French press, do you know what a French press is? French press is just this little doohickey here, right? Okay, and you put the coffee beans in the bottom, you fill up your water, you let it set for a few minutes, and then you basically press it and it strains it through. It's completely different. Even your favorite coffee, if you haven't tried it in a French press versus a brew cup, try it in a French press. Absolutely fantastic. I am a coffee snob that way. Hey, Jessica, how you doing? Hey, Judy, how you doing as well? Okay, I want to talk to you from a historical standpoint. Tim says, what coffee beans am I using? I go to Trader Joe's, and I always try to get organic coffee beans if I can, but I'm kind of rotating it through them all. I think my favorite in the world, not it's answer script. I think my favorite is Guatemala. I really like Guatemalan coffee. I don't taste any difference in the Jamaican blue, the Jamaican beans that are so expensive. I don't really taste any different in that. Tim Hortons, I'll have to try that. I haven't tried Tim Hortons dark roast, but I like, have you ever seen Peaberry? Here's your coffee tip for the day. All coffee plants in certain seasons, it's like every 10 years, they stunt and they produce a single bean, pea bean, one single bean. And it's called a peaberry. Hey, Joe Fox, how's it going? It's called a peaberry. And then they pick all those pea berries. It's exceptionally rare, as you can imagine. Hey, Gary, as you can imagine, right? Lance, Dr. Pepper's your coffee. I love Dr. Pepper, but I couldn't do that. And that one bean, very rare, and then they gather them together, and every 10 years there's a batch of peaberry. If you ever come across New Guinea peaberry or peaberry, that's the coffee you have to do. It's the gold of coffee. I can't even describe it. It's just off the charts. Anyway, let's just do a little history check here real quick. And then you miss coffee. You can't drink it right now. Julia, how horrible. I've been known to drive 72 miles one way when I was going to Starbucks just to get my stupid $2 cup of coffee. I don't drink the frou-frous. I drink regular coffee, but yes, I'm a coffee whore. Anyway, let's do a little dictionary check if we can, because Right now, of course, the nation historically is in chaos over this. And I just want to remind everybody of a few things, and then I want to tell you about Parler, because that's what we're talking about. If you just joined me, I've jumped to Parler, right? And Parler here, which I'm going to explain in a minute, I want to explain to you why I decided to do that, right? And but first, let's just talk some history. And Nathan says, Commander, you have some cute fans. Julia, meet Nathan. Nathan, meet Julia. Anyway, had a matchmaking service. Anyway, yeah, she's my crush too. I understand. History. First and foremost, I just want everybody to understand media outlets do not call elections. That's just not how it works. All elections have to be certified by the electorate, by the governing bodies. Media doesn't call it. Now, the reason I want to tell you that, hey, everybody can join Judy on Parler, Juju 0460, right? Juju, there's some more. I'll see you there. I want to take you back in time, not that far back in time. Hey, Teresa, how you doing? To the year 2000. And why do I want to take you back to 2000? Well, that was the first election issue we had as a nation in modern times, where we had, whatever you want to call it, a hiccup, but remember, it was the hanging Chad issue. Did the little dingleberry Chad, right? Did it punch all the way through? Was it an intentional punch? Was it a paper raking over punch? Was it a punch even at all? That was called the hanging Chad issue, okay? Now, the reason I want to remind you of this historical bit, which everybody seems to forget, is in 2000, Al Gore, after the election, the media claimed for well over a month that Al Gore was the new president of the United States. And you're right. Congress didn't certify the elections until January 6th. Okay? You have to understand that even back then, the system had to stop, had to slow down, had to count things differently. Took a while. And in counting those back and auditing them with dual people, both sides, and an impartial doing it, they arrived at the right numbers, and the election was decided for George Bush, not who the media said was the candidate. And I just want to remind you that there is a precedent for this. I mean, this is nothing new, but just because you either saw CNN or NBC or even Fox say this is it, that doesn't mean it's fact. Period. Pollsters have bias. There's all kinds of reasons all this is done, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court. And Lance is 100% correct. Amy Coney Barrett was put in place at the right time, and that's what part of the big crisis over her was. And Angus says, right, good afternoon from England, disgusted by the fraudulent election. Same globalists over here are trying to stop us, right? It's you just have to understand this is how it goes. This is how the game is played. This is what's at stake. We're all praying that we should just pray that and I want to say words matter. You know, there's a difference between saying count every vote and count the legal votes. Here's Chris Porter on Parler, detector aid, right? And so we kind of have to walk through this, and we kind of have to trust it. So I just want you to know, and this is what brings me, Chris said, I don't watch the major networks, right? And you're right. Lynn says, how in the hell can we come back from them saying the first female VP? You know what? The media is actually doing, here's Tim's Parler, The media is actually doing a psychological warfare on you. It's the easiest way to explain it, right? And we all just hope it gets sorted out. But I just want to, have you go back that you need to understand that way before this, people were saying, oh, he's not going to leave office. Oh, count every vote. Well, we're always going to count every vote. And he's not going to leave office. He's going to have to be removed. That's all psychological warfare. All of this was planned. This is it. Simon, brother, we're right on. I'm disgusted by this. I haven't even turned back on the TV. I cut it all off. I cut off Fox News. Remember, I was on Fox for years. I shut it all off. Spent a lot of time yesterday with the chief of staff with the GOP going through this. Of course, I see a lot of things that most people don't see. But I just want to let you know, it doesn't matter what the media says, because the media can tell you that the Russians are taking over ours. Here's Dennis on Parler. Dennis, DR Cummings on Parler. Bias is harmful. Journalism is dead. This is psychological warfare at its best. And I just think I want to see every side of an equation. I want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just want to be able to make up my own damn mind. That's it. I just want to make up my own mind. And to make up your own mind, you have to be able to see everything and not be told what it is. Not be told you should be mad, or not be told, oh, this is okay, or not be told this is who it is. It has processes, and this is why we have it. And Jim, you're right. It's like the news is brainwashing us, but we got to remember at the end of the day, if it bleeds, it leads. It bleeds, it leads, right? And they need controversy, and that's how they get viewers. And this is just the next thing. And so, yeah, Joe, I moved to Parler, and I'm going to show you that. But I just want to explain, this is why social media and just getting news bites and little bitty bits doesn't work. And it's the same thing I've told you on history for a very long time. Dig, find the facts, but it's very hard. It's very hard with Twitter and Facebook deciding what you can see and why you should key. And it just kind of makes me sick. And so what I've done is I've jumped over to Parler, and I jumped over to Parler because I kind of had my last straw with Twitter, just not allowing people to share. Here's Quiet Robert 209. Here's Gary Moore on Parler, right? I can't reconcile in my life. I cannot reconcile a few things. And here's an example. As a Jew who happens to be conservative, I could share stuff that, hey, you got to look at this election, look at these counts, this doesn't make sense. And they will bust the link and throw it out and block it and warn you, if you do it again, you're going to be banned. But on the same social media platform, somebody who supports the BDS movement or the Palestinians, that they're an oppressed people, they can actually post links that are to how do you sign up to get $2,000 a month payment from the Palestinian government, Palestinian Authority, to kill Jews or to kill Americans. And you get paid $2,000 a month. Your family, if you're willing to do it, you get paid $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. How is it that you can put a bounty on people and that be allowed on social media, but just the expression of a citizen of I don't like this on and it shouldn't be allowed on social media, but that gets banned. And that's the deal. And so I've jumped over to Parler. You just type in my name. It's real simple. Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, and maybe there we can have some more serious discussions. I'll share with you a lot more about what I know and see, what's going on with different suits, what's going on with exactly, because you're just not seeing it in the news, and you're not seeing it in you're just not seeing it in the regular media. And that's it. That's it. But anyway, it's a history lesson, folks. We've been here before. We've been here before. Just think 20 years ago, right? And we had an election. There were some issues about reading these things right. No, I'm staying on Facebook. I just take a chance every time I talk on Facebook, and I express myself in a certain way that I take a chance getting banned. And it's an easy way to do it. Yes, I'm on a 4K computer and phone and whatever. No, it's not Parler. It's just my connection. Again, it can even be like in Jovan Hutton Pulitzer official, my just one fan group thing. Somebody can post something about the election and counts, but what you don't see, but I see on this side of the equation is Facebook will come back and say, oh, this is not really approved, blah, 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 blah. And you can, you're warned, you need to remove it, but if you don't remove it, and we have to warn you multiple times, your account's going away. Let me tell you a little bit about Parler that I think you need to know, because one of my dear friends here dialogued with me about Parler this morning when it first came out, right? And what was said was, isn't Parler a white nationalist platform, right? And and yeah, we're not giving up Facebook. Don't worry about it. Isn't Parler a white nationalist platform? And what they did was they said, look at what happened with Twitter, and Twitter said Parler is white nationalist platform. It's where the white nationalists gathered. Well, you know, white nationalist has become to mean a lot of different things. And so I do not at all believe the Parler crap that they write about Parler. Think about this. Twitter, the very one that censors what you say if you don't like it, is saying, oh, don't go to Parler because it's white nationalist campground. That should tell you right there that they're trying to sway you away from it. But the second thing my great friend posted was a Wikipedia, right? A Wikipedia that said Parler was this, and Parler had all these Saudi accounts, and the Saudi accounts, because the dude was bad, and therefore they got banned from Twitter and social media, so they moved over to Parler, so it's a bad place. I want to let you know there was a Saudi event with Twitter, but it was a Saudi nationalist. You got to understand the difference. See, you've been watching some nationalism going on recently, just most people don't recognize it. When Middle Eastern countries have now said, I stand with Israel, that is that country taking a nationalist stance, not a globalist stance. See, the Middle East as a globalist stance says, I don't want you. I want everybody to be against Israel because this is the way we want it to be, right? And therefore, they call that a nationalist movement. Well, what they were trying to do is to keep Middle Eastern countries from joining with Israel and accepting, you know what, we don't have to hate everybody, and we can participate, and we can do business together. Well, that was a nationalist movement, and a nationalist movement saying we can work together as nations and still be our independent nations. We don't have to think like everybody else. And when that started in the Middle East, everybody kind of freaked out. And that's what you saw happen with Parler, is because Twitter, when the Saudis are helping this, and you're talking, you know, the big money of the Middle East is going, we're going to embrace Israel, right? When they said, we're going to embrace Israel, right? It went against the globalist agenda. And so they had to mouth it bad. But I'm going to tell you about Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia, take a guy like me, patents out the wazoo, awards out the wazoo. I'm on 11 billion devices out there, right? Have broken records in all kinds of industries, written kind of books, been on TV, successful radio show, coast to coast, over 600 radio stations, really big, blah, 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 invented the triple cast, all this other stuff. I was the guy that put the first URL on a TV show to see if this thing called the internet worked. But you won't find my Wikipedia profile. And you know why you won't find my Wikipedia profile? Because I happen to be a conservative. I'm a conservative that operates in a very liberal world, and they just won't allow that kind of traction to occur. And you can go to Wikipedia and you can even look at Oak Island stuff and you can see where they'll edit me out of appearances. That's how corrupt even Wikipedia is. It's all a manipulation game to make certain voices rise, other voices fail and hold back. And so that's why I moved to Parler, and I just want to let you know about it. Anyway, every nation should put their nation first. Every nation. Suzanne says so much far out stuff on that Parler. There's far out stuff everywhere there is. But I do believe you should be allowed to speak your mind. And let me give you an example. If you believe in extraterrestrials, right? And you want to collect with other people that believe in extraterrestrials, you should have the right to have that discussion. It's not illegal. It's not a crime in it. It's just what you think. But what if all of a sudden the media decided, oh, no more ancient aliens, no more of this, whatever the case may be, but. And they decided you're just not going to see that anymore because we don't sanction it. That's the difference. I don't care if a person is an extreme liberal, a liberal, or whatever the case may be. You have a right to free will and free thought. God gave every one of us free will. We can decide what we want to do. You can even decide to be a socialist. You can even decide to be a communist. If you want to go to a socialist country, you have free will to do it. You just don't have the right to use fraudulent or other means to force everybody else to do it. That's what's at issue. When you watch very well-known people on TV that are senators and running panels, and you watch them go, and you know, Pennsylvania, quote unquote, falls, and he's standing in the street, goes, great, we got Pennsylvania. Now all we have to do is turn Georgia, and then we can transform and change all of America. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Anyway, I just think you should be able to dialogue about it. You just should be able to dialogue about it. I could never run for president, you know, because if I ran for president, it would come out that when you heard about Richard Gere and the gerbil, that it was my fucking gerbil. So I can't run, right? Geez, it's going to be exposed. Anyway, look, it's a big world out there. We should be able to discuss this and think about it. Think about the kids out riding their skateboards and, you know, coloring their hair 20,000 colors and wearing Che Rivera shirts, and they're deciding what we should think, and therefore with the power of a click they can make it disappear because by God we're going to think like they do. Put that in your mind, because that's who many of these kids that are clicking that button behind the scenes are, and have that power and are doing it. So just stand up for your right to be heard. This great country got built on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom from excess control by government. And if you don't stand up for it, we'll lose it. And I just want you to know, I just want you to know that this affects the whole world. It'll forever change elections if we don't deal with it, and we have to deal with it. And you should be wary of it on both sides. And you should be, regardless of the side you're on, you should want every legal ballot counted. I'm gonna tip the scales for you, and I want you to do something. I want you to go to the Pennsylvania election board. And you're right, Lance. If we fail, the world fails. We're the economic machine that drives the world. I want you to go to the Pennsylvania election results. Okay? You can look them up. They're public. They're there. And when you see all the votes and you see the list of all the votes and blah, 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 I want you to click on one thing. And the thing I want you to click on is the tab for date of birth. You can do it. It's open, right? And I want you to see how many people over the age of 110 voted. I want you to see how many people in their 120s up to their 140s voted. Just go look. Just go look. If somebody was 140 years old or 125 years old, we'd know their name. And if for God forbid in Pennsylvania there were all these, yes, I have looked myself. I'm sharing it with you so you can look yourself. If Pennsylvania had so many people in advance of their ages voting for the very first time, we would all be moving to the Pennsylvania state so we could all live to be well into our hundreds very, 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 very long. And I just want you to just look, right? 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 The numbers are out there. So please remember, just please remember, media does not decide elections. When the elections are certified, that's when the election's called. There's a lot of things going on. Don't believe the media. Don't believe the spin. It's just the way it works. The media is doing their job. Their job's totally shitty. We've lost journalism. We've lost news. Gone are the days of Walter Cronkite and stuff that we were at. And you're right. I can potentially get blocked for this. Watch it. My stuff goes up and down. I can continually get blocked for speaking the truth. But this is just the way it is. And I just ask everybody to pray, pause a bit. Remember what happened in 2000. Remember that even the media can declare a president like they did in 2000 and it not be absolutely truth. That's it. That's all I want to share with you. And so I'm headed over to Parler just so you can join me there. I can hear my phone beeping off. People are doing it. You know, some people say Parler can be white nationalists or whatever. I find that funny. But again, we're in the largest psychological warfare operation the world has ever seen. But I'm telling you, thank God it happened in 2020 with all our digital age, because you can see certain things. I don't know if you've been watching, but like if you were watching the Philadelphia vote, and it all caught it digitally, all those feeds that came into the news feeds, right? All those boom, boom that came in, is what happened is you could see the other side's candidate. You could see them jump like 120,000, and where in President Trump dropped 120,000, right? So how does one candidate gain, but one candidate gets taken away? And that's because it's a computer that's doing it. You've never seen that before, but this all got caught on TV. You can go see it. That's part of what social media is blocking. You could those feeds come right from the election computers, and they run on the screen, right? And so you see this one up here, and you see the one behind the network does, and you will watch, and some very weird things happened all over. You would see one candidate on one side jump 1,000, but the candidate on this side got taken away 1,000. It's an electronic vote swapping, and you can see it. So I just want to let you know, I'm on Parler. Come join me. Maybe we can talk there, right? It's going to be funky. It doesn't matter who wins. It is what it is, what it is. And I accepted it when a different president was in, and that's the way America voted. Great. But you cannot steal an election. You cannot steal an election. And you cannot run hammers and scorecards on our election, right? You cannot run hammers and scorecards. The big thing that's going on, Nancy, in Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania on screen, on live, captured through multiple news networks. I'm just giving you round numbers, okay? But you can see 100, I'm just using round numbers, so don't say he's one digit off, that's wrong. You can see 100,000 votes hit one candidate. Remember, this is a counting process. But at the same time, that hit 100,000. Down here, the other candidate got taken away 100,000. It just swapped because this all refreshed, and you saw a hot swap in the system. Take a look. You can find this. You have to dig for it. Social media is trying hard not to let it, but we should all agree on one thing: fair and honest election, regardless. Dead people cannot vote. If you're not a citizen, you cannot vote. If you've moved out of the state, you cannot vote. If a state normally has 600,000 voters, how in the hell do you have 800,000 votes? I'm a stupid fellow, and even I can follow that math. If you only normally get 600,000 votes, but now you got 800,000 votes, get it? If there was only 600,000 to begin with, how is it that you can track years and years of history that maybe they had about 20% of all the populace vote, even in Obama era or whatever, but all of a sudden you have 98% of the populace vote? How do you do that? You know how you do that? By making sure everybody in the state got mailed a ballot, and that ballot can be controlled. We should all agree, regardless. I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Green Party, I don't care if you're the Hamster Party. Your vote, your legal vote, should count. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote here. If you're dead, you can't vote, right? It's just simple common sense. And if we allow dead people votes, hey, Andrew from across the pond, how's it going? If we allow that, we're doomed. We're going backwards in history. We're going backwards in history. This is the time where a few are now deciding for the many, and we're supposed to be the people. It's supposed to be our voice for the people. It's about the people. That's why we got rid of rulers, and that's why the system had to change, and that's why we have to hear from the people, and it should be valid. But you get told all by the media all the time that if you're a conservative or whatever, that you're in the minority. It's just not true. It's just not true. Inspect what you expect. Anyway, try to stay up on it. I know it's hard not to be disgusted. I know it's hard not to say, fuck it, I'm never voting again. Don't do that. You got to stay on top of it, stay in it. It's free will. I just want you to know, whatever country you're joining me from, this can affect you too. It can affect everybody. And the media is running the country, and that's not the way it should be. It's up to you and to me and to everybody watching to cast our vote, and may the winner win based on true legal votes. True legal votes. And like I like to tell young people, what you don't understand is if you allow votes to be taken this way, and you allow it to be corrupt just because you think being a part of X party is the thing, I want you to know that there'll never be another Elon Musk. There'll never be another Mark Zuckerberg. There'll never be another Jack Dorsey at Twitter. You know why there won't? Is because once you go socialist, everything belongs to the government. And with all these young kids, and I'm an influencer, and I'm this, and I can make money and do whatever the case may be, and I can become rich. The American dream, that dream goes right along with socialism. It goes away. It's gone. It's gone. I live in a city that is a sanctuary city. I'm close to my Starbucks and Trader Joe's. I can walk to it right there. And not even another 200 yards up, 50 people camping under an overpass with the most ungodly amount of shit you can see and shit on the sidewalks. And if you get to the bigger overpasses in the cities, there's hundreds of homeless people camping, toilets, all kinds of, there's none. There's shit everywhere on the side of the overpasses. Imagine driving down an overpass and you got turds running down the overpass concrete where they just hang over the rails and poop. And, you know, we're not even talking 1,000 yards from the neighborhood. But if they come into the neighborhood and they want to camp on the sidewalk or even your yard, they can, and you cannot do a thing. I live in one of those cities. It's the most ungodly thing you could ever imagine. And it's all done under take care of the people that need help or whatever. But when you look at the city numbers, they get almost $200,000 of services for those people on the street. But you look at the amount they really spend for them, it's probably not even $2,000 a year. The rest goes into the county coffers and they do whatever they want with it. They too are political pawns. They too have a value. I live in one of those cities. It's horrible, and it's coming, and it's getting bigger, especially if our votes don't count. And it doesn't matter to me what side it is. I'm prepared to deal with it, but it must be legal votes. And I just happen to think it's common sense. If you're dead, you can't vote. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote. If you don't live in that state, you can't vote. And, right, you can't have people filling in the ballot or swapping ballots for you and subverting your vote. That's a crime. That's a federal crime. So I'm going to try to share with you as much as I can. On Parler, I can share a lot of this safely. You know, I participate every 2 days in a teleconference with the GOP and the White House stuff, hearing stuff. I just can't share a lot of the stuff on Facebook here. It's not allowed. I'd like to keep the platform, but you know what? It's my hashtag. What's my hashtag? Right? OYFE, OYFE. Open your fucking eyes. Time is here. Take care, folks. I just wanted to share this with you. Don't remember. Don't remember. Don't remember. Don't forget. Sorry. Don't forget. I'm having a Biden moment. Come on, man. Don't forget, 20 years ago, we went through this, and the media for well over a month was claiming somebody else president that wasn't president, and we had to go through it. Okay, guys, I love you all. Take care. If you're hurting, if you're sad, I'm there. I feel it. I have to fight it just like you. But whatever it is, we'll get through it. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.